Summary of Beyond Reason. Using Emotions as You Negotiate. By Roger Fisher and Daniel Shapiro. The Power of Emotions. You negotiate every day, about everything from your work to your meals. Every time you do, some emotion is involved. You can't ignore these emotions, and you shouldn't try. They won't just evaporate. If you don't deal with them, they'll distract you and sabotage your efforts to act rationally. Emotions always play a role, often a powerful one, so you need to learn to deal with them. Start by recognizing that emotions are felt, not just thought. They are in the body, and affect how you think and act. Emotions can be positive as well as negative. If you like the person you're negotiating with, warm feelings can shift your relationship, putting you on the same side as you seek to resolve a problem. Positive or contagious emotions add motivation and incentive. Being nice or friendly can spread. Of course, don't let warm feelings overly influence you. Check any agreement you negotiate against rationally constructed criteria. Emotions can absorb a lot of energy and attention if you try to address them directly. They are complicated and change quickly. Therefore, instead of trying to deal with anger, then sadness, and so on, focus on your core concerns. These universal, basic desires generate emotions that shape every negotiation. The 5 most important core concerns, which can and do blend together, are appreciation, affiliation, autonomy, status, and role. Each one flavors the emotional stew in specific ways. To judge if you are addressing these concerns appropriately, check to see if you are being fair and treating people honestly. Make sure your approach to everyone's core concerns is consistent with current circumstances. One concern may get more attention in a given situation than another, and that's fine. Appropriate treatment shifts according to context. Use the core concerns as lenses that help you see negotiations more clearly. Use them as tools. Review your proposals and strategies to make sure you've addressed all 5 core concerns. As you negotiate, watch for signs that you are or aren't meeting someone's core concerns. When someone satisfies your core concerns, you are likely to feel pleased, proud, and enthusiastic, making it easier for you to work creatively with other people and to trust their adherence to your solutions. When someone neglects your core concerns, you are likely to feel mad, tense, depressed, and even disgusted. As a result, you may distrust people, try to handle things alone, and pull away from proposed deals even when they suit your interests. Appreciation. Appreciation's impact is direct and powerful. If you appreciate people, you acknowledge their value and say so. Other people don't know you appreciate them if you don't tell them. Appreciation makes people feel at ease and more likely to collaborate. However, a few stumbling blocks lead people to fail to appreciate each other, and to lose appreciation's benefits. For example, you might not appreciate the other parties because you don't understand or agree with their perspectives. You might recognize the value of their words and deeds, but fail to say so. To take advantage of appreciation, reverse these obstacles, make an effort to understand what other people are saying, or trying to say but can't articulate. Listen for subtle cues, such as word emphasis. Watch for meta-messages, which communicate several things at once. Look for the message behind the message. Seek the value in what others do, in negotiations and in daily life. When you disagree with other people, look for the value in their reasoning. If your beliefs make that difficult, play the role of an impartial mediator. It isn't enough to praise vaguely or indiscriminately, you must communicate your understanding of the other party's value. Show that you see their specific viewpoint. Reflect their words back to them and articulate how you'd feel in their place. To build this skill, practice appreciation outside of negotiations. Enlist a peer to role-play appreciation. Have your colleague walk through the other side's arguments and practice finding value in them. To help others appreciate you, use metaphors skillfully to build an image of a common mission. Narrow your communication to a few key points and ask what they understand you to be saying. Know that appreciating their argument is not the same thing as accepting it. Affiliation. It is easy to fall into the perspective that the other negotiating party is an enemy, but that's not the best approach because it will keep you from working together. Instead, find ways to build a sense of connection. the ideal would be to feel like part of an extended family. That feeling is affiliation, which is crucial in negotiations, but often overlooked. To consciously develop affiliation in your negotiation, look for structural connections, the links people share as part of the same group. Research your counterparts. Did you attend the same college? Do you hold similar ranks in your firms? Are you members of the same church or professional group? Share this sort of information in early icebreaking conversations. Ask about their families and backgrounds. Create new connections with them by exploring interests you have in common, from photography to the local football team. Act like colleagues who are trying to solve a specific problem by negotiating. Seek opportunities to interact outside of formal negotiations. Structural connections blend with personal connections, the emotional links between two individuals. To promote these connections, personalize your contacts. Meet in person rather than via phone, computer, or email. Discuss shared interests. Give other people space to pursue their concerns. Even the way you sit in a room can promote these connections. Alternating members of two negotiating teams around a circular table will seem more personal than arranging two teams on opposite sides of a rectangular table. As you cultivate personal emotions, take care that they don't overly influence you. Don't let people use them to take advantage of you. Autonomy. Autonomy means you have control over your life. You decide what to do and when. As you do that, avoid infringing on others' self-determination. The proper use of autonomy requires heightened awareness of other people's boundaries and expectations. Unfortunately, it is difficult to find this balance without limiting your own autonomy more than necessary or accidentally transgressing someone else's. You can use autonomy well and exercise influence without having any formal position or authority. To do so, make suggestions or get the other party to help generate options before a decision. This can be done formally through joint brainstorming, in which parties, some of whom may be quite adversarial personally, such as divorcing couples, work to generate new ideas about solutions. However, you can give someone too much autonomy. Being asked to make too many decisions can overwhelm some people. If your actions in daily life have implications for other people, such as your spouse, make a policy of generally consulting them before making a decision. Likewise, if your actions have implications for a wide array of people, such as two merging companies, consult with them. You won't get or need feedback from everyone, but give those whose lives may be reshaped by your actions a chance to speak. At least, inform all the stakeholders, so they can adjust their actions and expectations. When you must answer to multiple stakeholders, use the ICN bucket system. In this system, you metaphorically put each decision into one of three buckets. Small decisions you can make alone, but should tell others about later, go in bucket 1, inform. Decisions you can make that include consultation with others go in bucket 2, consult. Decisions you must make with others go in bucket 3, negotiate joint agreement. Status. Your status is how you rank in comparison to others. A high status can make you feel better about yourself and add weight to your opinions. You can influence other people with status alone, so negotiators often jockey for position, as if there is a finite amount of status to be divided. That's a dangerous, misinformed perspective. Competing for status leads people to resent one another and can undermine their ability to work together. Some people are acutely attuned to generalized status markers, such as what college you attended or who your friends are. Some people demand to be called by their titles, which is sometimes appropriate. If in doubt, use a person's formal title. Your status will shift according to the values and demands of specific contexts, so treat everyone with courtesy and respect. Acknowledge each individual's status in his or her field. If someone is a good cook or mechanic, acknowledge that, and recognize that this expertise adds something to your interaction that you may lack. List the different areas where people might rank their status or experience. If you can identify mutual areas of expertise, perhaps you can divide up the responsibilities for a given interaction without conflict. Status is not absolute, it can increase or decrease. Raise your status by educating yourself, researching those you interact with, and acknowledging their status. Roles. Everyone plays roles all the time, from broad roles like parent to more specific ones, such as being an executive at a particular company. You need your role to have meaning and to sincerely reflect who you are. Unfortunately, if you're like most people, you sometimes find yourself stuck in a painful or pointless role. To make it more fulfilling, learn its purpose, and become more aware of its goals and what they ask of you. If you are in dual roles that uncomfortably conflict and demand different things, examine the label that comes with each role and the actions that accompany it. Any position has some required activities and some flexibility. Use that flexibility to reshape your role until it includes activities you find meaningful. Within your role, redefine the required activities and negotiate how others define them. You may find that your role is not satisfying because you expect different things from it than others do. Use other people's roles as a way to understand their interests. For example, if people are stubborn about a position, maybe that position gives them especially meaningful roles. Shift their position by helping them craft new roles. For instance, ask a sulky participant for advice about the issue at hand to shift the person out of the role of balky, childish adversary and into the role of adult advisor and counselor. Being asked to assume a higher status position that requires calmness and wisdom can shift the person's frame of mind. During a negotiation, you can also choose to play temporary roles with specific functions. Many people do this automatically, but you want to choose your role consciously so you can promote collaboration. Is this the time to be a listener? Or a devil's advocate? Emotion, preparation, and processes. Strong negative emotions hit every negotiation at some point, so be ready. These dark feelings can give you tunnel vision when they become all you see or feel. Negative emotions can influence you so much that you might act against your own interests. Deal with these emotions by learning to take your own emotional temperature. Check in with yourself. Evaluate what you're feeling and how intense and dangerous it is. Have a plan for what to do when powerful emotions sweep over you. Don't disregard your feelings, but, instead of acting on negative emotions, plan to do something constructive. Take deep breaths, count backward from 10 to 0 or call for a break. When you express emotions, be purposeful. Vent to get the emotion out, but also to let others know what matters to you, to influence them and to improve your relationships. If you have to let off steam, that's fine. But don't do it with your negotiating counterpart. Above all, have an emergency plan for handling strong emotions. If you're dealing with someone else's strong emotions, start by showing that you appreciate their concerns. Take breaks when needed. If the emotional mix in the room is undermining the negotiation, change locations or personnel. A lot of negotiators come to the table without preparation because they don't have a structured way to prepare, or a methodical routine for learning from past negotiations. Prepare for each negotiation. To get ready for the process of negotiating, develop a specific, meaningful sequence to follow. To prepare for the substance of the exchange, review its major elements, such as the interests and relationships of the parties. Get ready for the emotions that arise during negotiations by working through the 5 core concerns. Use them to see the situation more clearly, plan how to address each one. After a negotiation wraps up, review the process, substance, and emotional ramifications to analyze what worked well and what to do differently next time. How did you address core concerns, and how were your core concerns addressed? Keep a negotiation journal to record what you've learned and review it before your next negotiation.